red corner, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, TBE, Floyd Mayweather.
John Gotti may have thought he was up to breaking heavyweight champion Floyd Mayweather's unbeaten streak, but he was reminded in a few minutes that Mayweather indeed didn't attain his level of achievement by being a regular fighter. Floyd Mayweather has paid his dues in the sport, and he wasn't going to allow John Gotti to be the one to ruin his reputation. John thought he had the upper hand, but Floyd didn't make that last a long time. A boxer like Floyd, who has a record of 50 wins to 0 losses, would surely use his sweat and blood to keep that record, which he did.
Your jab is great. Your jab is great. So ripple the jab. Gotta work a little bit more. You're waiting for him. Don't wait.
It was a great fight, an interesting match where many folks had already predicted the outcome. Yeah, the result was as people had expected, but the fight itself was shocking. John Gotti pulled a fast one on the audience, though he didn't get away with it, but he surprised everyone. Floyd fought based on his experience in the sport, intelligence, and even footwork. To top it all off, Floyd brought his boxing IQ and technique to play, and that landed John in hot water. John Gotti had the advantage of age as he's younger than Floyd with about 16 years. John had the opportunity to have a more active body as he was still going strong in the sport. But hello? Floyd wasn't going to allow a 16-year age gap to destroy the career he had used his entire life to build. Floyd allowed John to have a good one at the beginning of the fight, but things soon took a different turn. The fight, which was meant to last 8 rounds with a 2-minute time frame for each round, abruptly ended.
Stop steady in this exhibition match. Listen.
The referee in charge couldn't see the match through as too much trash talking kept coming in, which made the fight come to an end in the 6th round. John had it going during the 1st and 2nd rounds as things were looking up for him, but unfortunately, Floyd was just shedding his skin to throw some calculative punches. The 3rd round witnessed Floyd blocking his face from getting hit by John and throwing his precise blows with good positioning. Floyd soon dominated the fight, and he wrapped it up quickly.
Floyd digging with that jab to the body. We know that's one of his signatures.
However, the match wasn't scored, but it was obvious enough to the whole world that Floyd would be taking the title home if there was one. A popular boxing website even scored the match with a 6-2 scorecard. Folks believe John Gotti came in strong because Floyd allowed him, and when Floyd was done with that, he stopped allowing him. His punches couldn't go through, he couldn't land a single punch, he was just throwing jabs and hitting Floyd's defense. John soon realized the opponent he chose to fight with was a big mistake. Regardless of the match not getting scored, everyone knew who the winner was. Even the Mexican fans who were initially booing Floyd celebrated his obvious landslide victory with a standing ovation. Y'all know what it means for Mexicans to celebrate an American? To be honest, they didn't do it for the sake of any bad blood. They just knew who the winner was, and they cheered for him. Before you hear more about Floyd's victory, you should know about Gotti's family history. Some folks claim Floyd wasn't safe after beating the almighty John Gotti III. Wondering what that means? Here's the scoop on that. John Gotti III is the grandson of John Gotti, the head of the Gambino crime family, who died in prison in 2002. John Gotti was a man who was feared back in the 80s and early 90s as he ruled the crime scene in America for a while. Gotti was convicted of 5 murders: conspiracy to commit murder, obstruction of justice, racketeering, tax evasion, extortion, and loan sharking. Man was a walking crime lord. Imagine him still being alive and Floyd beating up his grandson the way he did. Maybe folks were right to be scared, but the person to be feared is long gone, or maybe not. Anyway, John Gotti III must have known he'd get beaten at some point when he chose boxing as a career choice. Not everyone will be like Floyd Mayweather. Even Mike Tyson had a few losses along the way. There's also the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, who also got knocked out a couple of times. Only Floyd holds the unbeaten record after retirement.
In the opening round, it's 8 2-minute rounds.
Get that double jab.
Floyd has gone up against many tough guys too, but he never gives up. He would never back down. Floyd just always has to go home with the win. Floyd is not just proud or egoistic based on his personality. He molded himself into that person with his hard work, dedication, and resilience. Don't get it all wrong. Almost all fighters are dedicated and hardworking, but Floyd's style is distinct from that of the rest. Some folks even claim Floyd doesn't play fairly, as he engages in some antics to win, but the game is the game. Y'all remember Victor Ortiz headbutting Floyd during the fight after hitting him in the face, which busted open on the inside and outside of Floyd's mouth? Oh yeah, if you remember, then you'd remember Floyd's revenge being a masterpiece. Referee Joe Cortez didn't hesitate to call a timeout and penalize Ortiz. Ortiz realized he was wrong and attempted to hug Floyd and make up with him before the fight continued. Floyd's reaction to the apology will forever be in the Hall of Fame of the boxing community.
Look at the hands of Mayweather. He lunged forward with his head. Time has been called and now a point's going to come away. A point. Point headbutt. Point headbutt. And it wasn't intentional. That really hurts to attain because he was having one of his most abusive rounds in the fight. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that.
Oops, sorry Victor Ortiz. Nobody saw that coming, and that made people believe Floyd didn't play fairly. But it didn't look like Ortiz played fairly either. Both of them were just there to win, and Floyd played the winning game better. No one can deny Floyd's skills and IQ when it comes to boxing. It's almost like he always knows what to do next to earn him the win. It's like a blessing for Floyd. There's also the highest grossing fight of all time in boxing history, and that's Floyd versus Pacquiao. Floyd must have made the highest money in his career during his fight with Manny Pacquiao in 2015. The entire boxing fans, which included celebrities, retired boxers, professional boxers, and even other sports players, were at the edge of their seats to see who the winner of the fight would be. Bets of millions of dollars were made and won after Floyd won the contest by unanimous decision, with two judges scoring at 116, 112, and the other 118, 110. It was a star-studded match at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, which later ended in a huge celebration after Floyd's victory. Another celebrity boxing event Floyd pulled was his fight with Canelo Alvarez. This was rated as the second highest grossing fight, and y'all should know Floyd still didn't flop. Canelo is a big deal in boxing, but him facing Floyd Mayweather, the best man, proved himself that night, and that was Floyd. Still at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, Floyd won the 12-round contest in what seemed to be a very tough fight. The bout, which took place at a 152-pound catch weight, was about 2 pounds below the light middleweight limit of 154 pounds.
Getting more comfortable, they're about 6 inches closer.
And counter right, low by Canelo.
While the fight has been going great for Canelo, Floyd pulled his trademark lead right-hand trick. It never disappoints. It's always a perfect ending to Floyd's fight, and it always brings him wins without fail. That's Floyd's magic. You might be expecting it, but you will never know when he brings it up. Floyd doesn't only fight physically, he's a mastermind of the sport. He knows so well how to strategize his moves and even calculate his opponent's moves. The tough fight was a previous round of celebration for Floyd, as he earned about $41.5 million for the fight before taking into account the pay-per-view sales.
Not a great punch, but it did get in there. And of course, the left hook is a...
Judge Dave Moretti had scored the fight 116, 112. Craig Metcalf scored it 117, 111, while Judge C.J. Ross's scorecard showed a tie of 114, 114. Well, Judge C.J. Ross kind of made the biggest mistake of his life because his scorecard resulted in him retiring after he was criticized for having such a scorecard. Everyone believed Floyd won by a landslide, and there was no need for a tie. Canelo's fight against Floyd was his first defeat in his 43 professional fights at that time. While Floyd scaled through, getting his streak ruined, Canelo, on the other hand, was handed the black ink that stained his undefeated streak.
And there's a stiff right hand to the body by Mayweather. Mayweather even a little bit distressed.
Floyd has been able to hold on to his clean record for decades, and he retired while the ovation was the loudest. It was only right he handed it over to his protégés. Talking about protégés, we have a couple of them to look forward to in Mayweather's promotion company. Notably, there's Gervonta Tank Davis. Yeah, Tank Davis may have gone separate ways from Floyd, but who can deny Floyd's influence on Tank's life and career? No one. Floyd indeed set the bar high for Tank Davis. He put him on the right path in the sport, and that continues to pave the way for Tank. Tank is currently on his undefeated streak also. Who knows if he might end up being like Floyd? He may also retire with the same record. As it stands, Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the front runners of this modern boxing generation. Tank's peers know better than to go up against him when they are not prepared. Even the ones that are prepared are getting beaten. There's Ryan Garcia and Frank Martin thinking Tank would be a piece of cake to meet in the ring. Oh well, he reminded them who his boss used to be. The undefeated champion, Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather worked his way to the top. The only thing he hates is to lose, and he never did till he hung his gloves. Tank Davis may be onto the same rope Floyd climbed to the top. Tank will meet the good, bad, and ugly like Floyd did. But will he be able to scale through the tough hurdles? Well, we will see about that as time goes on. As for Floyd Mayweather, he gave boxing fans an era to always look back at and continue to love boxing. John Gotti found out the hard way that Floyd Mayweather is indeed one of the fighters who made history in boxing. It didn't just happen overnight, as Floyd always says. He kept grinding even when the grind was hard. Floyd never gave up.
Oh, he's slick. He's still slick.
Floyd would always remind younger fighters that the flashy lifestyle he enjoys now didn't just happen, he made it happen. So maybe John Gotti will have to toughen up a little bit more than he does. Gotti also isn't a bad fighter. He had a good run while he was in the MMA before he switched to boxing. Maybe he just has to shake the MMA world off and immerse himself in the world of boxing. So do you think the fight between Floyd Mayweather and John Gotti was a fair fight? Or do you think Floyd outsmarted John in a corny way due to his experience in the sport? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel or turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on boxing news updates.